All right, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Senpai Kohai podcast. It's your boy Trey, and with me is the Hentai Hashira, Steven. Steven, what's going on over there? What are you doing?
I love that I've gained this moniker that always involves hentai at this point because apparently it's been forced on me. I don't talk about hentai that much. Really, I don't. Just Trey
It's
makes it
hard.
sound like I do.
It's hard to come up with these names, and what everything has to kind of go with itself. You know, the Hokage, but the hentai. Come on, what else is it gonna be? And what kind of Hashira
True.
are you gonna be? The hentai Hashira. That sounds so much better than the flame Hashira. The flame Hashira's already been taken. You know
It's
what
true,
else can
and
you be?
absolutely. And the truth is two things. Alliteration is always a much better thing to have whenever you're trying to be kind of like catchy. But number two, uh, I do typically respond with a lot of there's a hentai for that whenever we're talking. So
Yeah, and it catches me off guard. Like, oh god, what was I think there was just something I was just throwing out. I think I was just talking about something stupid, some cartoon. You're like, "Oh, yeah, there's an end for that." And I was like, "Ah, you're probably right. Ah."
speaking of hentai and well, lewd and inappropriate things, I feel like today was quite the experience in our friend group conversing about what started out as a simple and safe, funny headline where Japan creates a lickable TV screen where you can taste things. And our friend Nathan added an anime girl picture with the arm raised, and I threw Trey under the bus, and so I was like, "Oh, finally we can satisfy our anime armpit fetish." Um,
And I
in
had
real time.
no business being tagged in this. I have never in my life displayed interest in armpits. I
I
What was it? It was in Testament of Sister New Devil, where
Yeah,
that girl licked another girl's armpits, and I stopped. My whole life slowed down, and I was like, "This is really happening. What on earth?"
your
I
spirit left your body, like if your mom walked in on you watching hentai.
Oh yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
God, or your mother-in-law walking in on you watching Food Wars. It's just the worst. Just the
Did
worst.
that really happen?
Yeah, that's happened to me. It's right in the
Oh
middle of a good
man.
cook-off, and she walks in. Oh, hey, what do you do? And then you got to be like, it's anime. I don't know what to tell you. I expect this. You should expect this. I
Back back slowly out of the room, one step at a
please
time.
put this. I'm calling the police on you for breaking in here.
I think honestly my favorite part of the entire conversation, besides just being really hilarious, I was at work and I couldn't help but just be a part of this and then egg it on because you came flaming into the conversation with all caps, and I was like, "What are you talking about? We talk about this
Oh,
all the time. We
oh
have
God.
very heated and virtuous discussions about anime armpits." And so this goes on for like a solid hour with all of the boys jumping in and making jokes. And the funny part of this is actually the result of me being old and trying to learn about the internet. So as I may have mentioned millions of times because I repeat myself constantly, um I took a long period of time off the internet. So a lot of the things that a lot of people are very accustomed to, I don't have experience with. One of these things is Reddit. And so I started kind of messing around with Reddit, but then I was like, man, you know what? I don't really know like some good subreddits. So I should ask the boys. This is a great idea. And I got in and I asked for subreddit suggestions, and no one really responded for a while. But eventually, Daryl jumped in and gave me some great suggestions, like r/anime or r/abrupt chaos, and I think it gave me like three more. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got this. We're cool. And last but not least, he drops in r/anime armpits, and I was like, Lamau. That's a funny one because I didn't think it was real, and
I
I
wasn't
thought he was
expecting
just
you to
being
drop a
funny.
Lamau. Whoa.
Yeah, blew you out of the water with that one. But I actually laughed like a good hearty laugh on that one because I thought that's a funny joke. Like this guy's a funny guy. It's a good thing he's a YouTuber. And I remember I was still browsing Reddit after thinking it was a joke, and I was like, what if it isn't?
What if it's not a joke? In a world,
And it
in a
and it
world with
motherfucking
armpits.
wasn't. Like, you just go onto the subreddit, and it's just anime armpits all over the place. Like, it's an experience. And so I subbed.
No,
I joined the subreddit.
I checked it out today after our conversation, and someone dropped it again, and they were like Reddit anime armpits, and I was like, what? What is? It's just armpits, and like every time I think of an armpit, it's like I just think of like just folds of skin. It's just like maybe with some Old Spice, flakes in it, and it's like, what is going on? But then I looked and I
You did.
understood. And really, it's not the armpit, or I think I understand. It's the set piece of what the
Hmm.
armpit is. It's not like people have this fascination with this sweaty gland underneath the arm, because really that's what I thought it was. And I was like, Jesus Christ, 2012 really should have happened, and we really should have been wiped out. But no,
Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
set piece, and what all around it is really what you're appreciating. And I was like, wow, okay, I could see this. And I scrolled down, and I was like, okay, whoa, okay, this is weird. I'm out of here, dipping out. I'm about to have to go to church.
Absolutely need to go to church. You need to go confessional. Like, you want to. The reason you thought of it that way is because you spent too much time in locker rooms, and dudes are gross. But then you get the full image, like a classy one. See, that's the problem. There's always a point where classy
Ah,
goes absolutely off the table. The classy ones, it feels like, oh, there's the musculature, the wonderful animation, the side boob, and you all of a sudden going like, I can't tell people about this. I'm going to alienate everyone in my like entire life because of this. And then you get to the weird stuff, and you're like, okay, we're done. We're gonna unsub there, and not talk about it ever again. And this is the end of the most awkward and like audience alienating story we've ever told on this
yeah,
podcast.
we have spent 7.5 minutes speaking on anime armpits. So I think I'm gonna
Armpit gang,
unsub
rise up.
myself. No, 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 no. God.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So now that we've officially cemented my role as a hentai something every episode, uh, how you doing, Trey? You been watching anything? You been playing anything, or what
I
are we doing? What
man,
you got going on?
I've been slammed nose to the dirt. I life is doing me like the Hulk did Loki right now. I am busy. I've had a little bit of time to do a little bit of things. I've got and really I am just focusing on fun. You spoiler alert, I'm playing Final Fantasy 13. I know I know this is
Still?
news. Still, I'm
Uh,
grinding. So, and I think I've talked about this before, where they have these side missions.
mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Daryl playing the same, or we're playing at the same time, talking about it. And they have these side missions where you have to backtrack to a certain point in the game, and you talk to these stones. The stones gives you a mission to go to another part in the game, and you kill a monster. From there, you have to go to your next hunt mission, where you go to another part of the world, talk to a stone, and then you go to another part of the world and kill a monster. And the pattern continues. And it's awful. I'm 30 missions deep in this. And granted, I'm hella strong. Now, I think I have really improved in doing all this. I've fine tuned my team. And like, I've upgraded my equipment. Everything's maxed. I even did some tweaking today where Hope is a monster. I uh I gave him some pieces, and I was like, you know what? Why don't you do this? And he unleashed like this thunder magic that would have put Donald Duck to shame. And I was like, very impressive. Very
Oh,
impressive.
that's a Kingdom Hearts reference. Oh,
You
okay.
and me are gonna play
I
Kingdom
was
Hearts. We're gonna play Kingdom Hearts one day. You're gonna
so
appreciate it.
I only got to, I think I only got to the Aladdin world in the first game, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, you
That's
didn't get very far.
yeah. No, I didn't.
Um
Um Yeah.
Or I
So
could just do
so
another 24-hour stream, and we could do that. That's
and you and you
hopefully
watch
that'll
me
be
only be
in
present
a
for a
while.
couple hours of that one.
I'll only be mentally present, and then I'll just go
Jesus.
into autopilot and beat it. But it's just these quests are so redundant, and
Hmm.
like I think it's meant for you to kind of track the world, and some are placed way the hell out there and explore things, but it doesn't add anything. There's not lore. It's just goober stuff. Like I'm getting ready to go fight this boss again, and if I can't beat him, I'm calling it quits. I got
Oh
other
wow.
Final Fantasies to play.
I like just straight up drop it until you can come back to it and finish it because remember you
I
have to
probably
finish
won't.
them. You have to finish them. You and Daryl are the worst at this. You're like, if I put even like an hour into this, I've played it. It's okay. Like if you're gonna say you're gonna finish something, you gotta finish something. Because I'm about to tell you a story to go along with your game that you've been playing.
But
Are you
to
ready?
to caveat, if I can't finish it, it's for two reasons. Either it's gotten to a point where I can't, and I'm 40 hours in, 45 hours in on Final Fantasy 13. I've now spent 5 to 8 hours grinding for this boss. If I can't beat it now, I'm not. I will probably beat it after another 10 hours, but it's not worth it at that point. No way.
Our thresholds. Our thresholds. Our thresholds are completely different. We are not the same.
Let me hear what you got then. Show me a
Okay.
thresh. Put put
So
put me where the gooch is.
I'm gonna put you somewhere. That's not exactly the word
Is
I
that
expect
not?
you to say.
Oh, okay. Is that not how you use the word?
No, that's not how you use that word at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay, look. As I gotta say this, the word "gooch" does not sound appealing, no matter how you use it. Like, ugh. It's like the word "moist" to everybody else. Sorry
Yeah.
for everyone that hates it.
No,
I
it's
actually,
okay.
I'm unaffected by that word, which mainly because whenever I say it, I think of cake and not gross stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Eh,
I think you have to get to a point where, it's just don't think of, I don't know,
Gross stuff. Yeah,
crevices. Yeah, just think of
associate it
cake.
with something good, and a word won't it hurt you. But I can't think of anything good to go with gooch. Anyways, this is
Yeah,
literally
I
the
got
most
nothing.
unimportant thing. This is the most unimportant thing. All right. So as we've kind of mentioned a few times on here, I have not finished Persona 5 Royal yet, and I have a confession to make. I have played Persona 5 quite a bit, as a matter of fact. I played all the way up until you beat the game. And spoiler alert, kinda. This is an old ass game at this point, so I'm not gonna feel super bad about it. I got all the way up to Maruki's dungeon at the end in the royal content of Persona 5 earlier in 2021. I was playing along with the book club. I was enjoying myself with the boys. Got a little busy, but no big deal. I got pretty far in the game. I was very happy with myself. And then something happened. A terrible thing happened. I was sitting in my room one day, and I was doing something else on my computer, and I think I was playing my Switch. But I tend to leave my PlayStation 4 on rest mode and things like that. And there was a storm, and something happened, and my hard drive emitted a smell that I've never smelled before. And much to my horror, when I got a little curious, I discovered that the hard drive that I had attached to my PS4 was melting. So every save file for every PS4 game I have played for the last like 6 years or so, completely gone. So I had 120 hours into Persona 5 Royal. You know how many I have now? 112 more. So like I said, Trey, we are not the same because I had to replay this game from the fucking beginning.
I wouldn't have
It's
done
so
that.
frustrating.
I would have just. I'd have called it. No, guys, my
No.
hard drive just melted. Here's the picture. I quit. I'm just gonna look up the ending.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I like my original one was this little plain black Western Digital.
Mhm.
And now I have this like fancy, like super cool, like red, like etched gamer version.
I've seen the
Very
new
cool.
one. Yeah, It's a
Yeah,
slick one.
yeah.
God,
But
God.
but 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 yeah. So I went on vacation for about 5 days, and I've been playing catch up on that the entire time. I played Persona 5 for 20 hours straight at one stretch during this vacation. Um, which is, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the game. It's still fun. I made a few different decisions than I did the first time around because I had kind of learned how to streamline it. So it's going a lot smoother. I can get palaces to the point where it's the boss battle in one day, as long as I'm smart with my resources and that sort of thing. But I'm finally getting to the home stretch, and I will finish the game. But by the end of this gameplay, I will have put almost 280 hours into Persona 5 Royal for 2 playthroughs that are not New Game Plus. But I am a stubborn mother trucker because when I joined the book club, I said I was going to beat these games. That's right, all of them. And I am going to beat all of them because I beat Ryza and I beat Three Houses. I beat Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I'm going to get them all.
You don't have to beat Persona
I'm a
Royal.
Pokemon master. I'm going to get them all.
Very debatable. Very debatable. You only beat Blue. You're not a Pokemon master.
True, but rude. Absolutely.
You're out of line, but you're
Unadulterated
right.
rudeness. I was thinking of that gif too. that
I
that gif has so much potential use in every conversation. I absolutely love it.
It does. I haven't gotten back to Battle Chasers Night War. I need to. I need to go back to that, but I just want to finish 13 so bad. I want to get it off the
Mm-hmm.
plate. I just want to be done with it. I
I get
know
that.
I'm right there at the end of it. And I want to start 8. That's what I really want.
I want you to start it so you can tell me your thoughts on it because
That's what I
it's a
really want.
garbage heap to me. It's
Yeah.
it's like I'm this grudge is strong to this day. I'm clearly a Taurus, according to my coworker, because I'm stubborn and I hold a grudge, and those are not wrong observations of me. I can't decide if it's stubbornness or competitiveness because like I kind of don't care to a certain degree. Like I'll get to it eventually. But you throw
Okay.
a bet at me or you talk enough shit to me and I'm all in. I will commit every free moment to that thing. I'm essentially Marty McFly when he gets called chicken in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like he has no mental capacity to not be like triggered in that moment.
He also has
And
no mental capacity. He's not really he's not really too bright.
yeah, he's not a smart kid. I mean, if he had to go back to the future 3 times, he didn't get right the first time.
It's such a good series. I watched that for the first time last year, the whole trilogy. It was
Really?
really good. I really appreciated it. Yeah.
It is both a product of its time and a unique experience that I think is enjoyable to multiple generations. I think it's just fun too,
It
honestly.
was.
Like
Yeah.
I know plenty of people, like I have friends that can kind of like nitpick movies, which I'm always kind of like, come on, do we all hate fun here? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
But I just enjoy it for what it is. And it's kind of wild to me to realize that uh Christopher Lloyd was actually young, like pretty young during those movies. Like it looks like he's the older guy, but I mean he's pretty old now. Like he's still doing movies.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd is Doc, right?
Yeah, Doc Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still doing movies, and it's
Yeah.
that movie was made in the 80s.
The man's
So,
old. Well, just like
assuming
Anthony Hopkins. I mean, he was old back then when he was doing movies, and the motherfucker's ancient.
I think
Eldritch
some
Horror,
guys
Anthony Hopkins.
Eldritch Horror. No, Eldritch Horror is Keanu Reeves. Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry, he's Dracula. Whatever it is, or
That'd be a
was it
better
Portrait of
description.
Dorian Gray? Portrait of Dorian
Ooh.
Gray is a good one too.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're literary gentlemen at this podcast,
We
but
are. Wow. Well read across the board. It's not just Dojins. We
apparently,
also read Dracula.
I have the Junji Ito versions of Frankenstein,
Oh yeah,
and
I've seen those.
yeah, I read it and I, I was amazed. I was like, I went out and got the novel because I was like, is this really what the story is? Like, there's more to it than I thought. Like, I'm so adjusted to like old school Frankenstein representation from like the Hammer horror film. No, not Hammer horror films, but the Universal horror
Universal, yeah.
films. Yeah. And just like the main movie was just about the monster and the villagers and things like that. But the original novel has a lot more about like the creator and the monster, and then trying to create another like artificial human for him to partner with. And the monster's a lot more intelligent than in like he's not just like kind of thing. He eventually, if I recall, like forgive me, I've been doing a lot of manga reading lately, so I'm like kind of a little bit like I also read a chapter of a manga that made me drop it outright finally, and then I have been reading other fun fluffy stuff. So like I'm trying to remember all the details, but yeah, there's a lot more details in the Frankenstein novel. So I went out and read it, and I liked it a lot. There's also Junji Ito did an adaptation of No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai, and it's
I think you've talked about that one. That's one
yeah,
that like kind of dives into human psyche or something, or the human
yeah,
state.
yeah. It's like it's sort of semi autobiographical about the author, but it definitely goes into kind of like just inability to connect socially and things like that. But it's really well drawn, and it kind of draws horror into it and like some of the weird visions that somebody can have in that state. It's really fun. I enjoy it. But yes, we are well read. That is the end result of that discussion.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
but what have you been watching? Have you watched anything? I mean, you've been busy.
I have not. I've been listening to more audiobooks than anything else. I finished the first volume of Bakemonogatari, and that was wild. Um, an emotional roller coaster, if anything.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wasn't
Those books are.
cool. I wasn't ready for that, so I am ready for or I am now. I know what to prepare for.
Mhm.
And then what else? I got another audiobook, and I started Overlord, and I realized that audiobooks are the way I have to digest my isekais. Like this just makes I don't have to visually deal with anything. This is it. I can just kind of tune out the isekai shit, and I can just kind of tune back in whenever they're done being isekai powerhouses. But I started Overlord. That one's going really well, voiced by um the voice actor for Ainzao Ghoul or Ainzao Gaon. I don't know how to say his name, but Mamong, whatever. The main guy voices it. It's beautiful. His voice
Yeah.
is butter, super nice,
Butter.
butter. And
Oh my
then,
god.
like he does these scenes, like these things where he's talking albedo. He's like albedo, and it's so nice. But I also finished another isekai series, a light novel, and that one was fun. It was called Magical Princess Demon Queen. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, you
Um,
should, because that doesn't really clear it up. I
no,
so while you're looking it up, like in your experience, like do you feel like the enjoyment of the series and the characters and the story is different from when you watch it in an anime form?
yes, wholly different, wholly with a wholly different. So like, just to make that clarification, shut the fuck. Anyway, so I watched.
I
So
love that
like,
you're having this argument by yourself. You're just like, shut the fuck. I didn't even say
shut the fuck
anything.
up.
What's happening?
He's
Anyways,
arguing
yeah,
about his
no.
isekais. So I watched, or not watched. So I listened to Sword Art Online as they're coming out,
Hmm.
and like one thing I really hate about that is how harem-ish it is. Even though I'm like I enjoy harems, it was too much and it was real weird to a degree. But listening to it, I developed an appreciation for it. Like it kind of the first volume was him and Asuna getting together. The second
Hmm.
volume was his his trek through the world and how he impacted all these different girls' lives. And it wasn't quite harem-y. It was more,
Hmm.
hey, looks like Kirito has an impact in these lives, and they're not following him around to be his next game mate or whatever. It's not as
Hmm.
weird as it is in the anime. And then in Overlord right now is really where I'm seeing the impact, because you only get a couple episodes in the first season to really see what's going on with Mamongo, Mamogo. I don't remember
I
his name,
the
but
skull dude.
the Skull Dude. Um,
Yeah.
you kind of get the only an episode or so before shit really kicks off, but it's really heartfelt whenever he's getting ready for his ship to sink and this world turn into his new reality, because all his friends are gone, all
Hmm.
his guildmates are disappearing. I was really sad for him, and it's just a little bit more well elaborated in these light novel audiobooks than it
Hmm.
is in the anime, or at least I felt like it was. um and maybe I'm just paying more attention because I'm working and I can listen, but
Hmm.
I I can visualize it and I can control it myself. I guess that may also play a factor, but it's I think it's more up to the imagination, I guess is what I could
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I think that light novels do have the opportunity to elevate a property to a position of better emotional understanding. Um, one of my favorite series of all time, as we've talked about on this podcast way back when, um, is Full Metal Panic. But Full Metal Panic started out as a light novel series, and it's actually really cool because Tokyo Pop originally licensed the light novels and actually released about like 3 volumes, which covers about the first season of the anime. Well, J Novel Club is now releasing like these really high quality hardback versions, like omnibuses of the light novel.
Ah, that's cool.
So I'm going back through it again, and I forgot how much you get a better insight into how Sosuke and Kaname actually think as people.
Hmm.
And it does a great job of highlighting action scenes and sharing information in detail about mecha and how it's associated with the military and how they think in a military situation. So it really kind of adds a certain edge to the story. It's definitely, Japanese light novel, like kind of hijinksy at times, but then it really kind of dips into some occasional, you know, in-depth military talk. Like, it ain't Tom Clancy, but it's not exactly like watching an anime about the inner thoughts of a military member. Um, it's just really, it's I don't know, it sells the series in a different way, and I think they have their value. I don't think every fan of anime will enjoy light novels, but
Yeah.
I do think it is a genre in the same bubble that at least is I think everybody should give a try. And then you have things like where, like, well, some of these light novels are written terribly, some of them are much better, you know.
I got a couple light novels over the Christmas break to read, and
Mm.
I'm not going to read them because I thought they were going to be picture books like mangas, and there was not pictures, bunch of words. Very disappointed. I don't know if I've said this before on the show, but I was like, ah, man, I'll just go ahead and keep reading Dragon Ball Z. And so that's kind of
Really?
where I'm at with that. Yeah, because
Do
I'd
you
rather something more stimulating.
so you prefer an audiobook kind of
Well,
interaction, huh?
I'd prefer that while it stimulates my, I guess, my thinking part while my hands can work, and then if I'm just sitting not doing anything, I can read a manga and just kind of scroll through my book.
Hmm.
I'm getting all my Dragon Ball Z books on Google Play, and so that's going pretty well. I'm on like 7, like volume
It's
7.
wild. It's
Yeah.
wild to actually see the difference in experience. Like, so for me, like, experiencing manga digitally is fine. As you know, I read a lot of manga, and it does help when I'm on the go. But viscerally, I hands down prefer an actual physical experience, and like really kind of getting comfy on the couch and reading my manga. As a matter of fact, it encourages me to reread series on occasion, just because I love actually reading that book. And the thing is it's I've actually long thought this. We have been training a younger generation, like your generation, to be constantly kind of like doing your stuff on the go. This kind of like draws back to that whole thing of like you have that ability. Like, I don't know if it's just multitasking ability to do different things while you do another thing. and I can't do it. I I think the closest I got was I figured out the watching anime dubbed while playing a game thing. It only applies to shonen anime
Yeah,
because
that's pretty easy to tune
because
out.
yeah, like honestly, half of an episode of a shonen anime is usually like a battle or something that you can kind of like halfway look at, because otherwise you're just gonna hear ching ching ching, huh, 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 that sort of thing. It's kind of not something you have to like fully commit to. But if I
Yeah,
was like say watching a show like oh what's a good one like Danganronpa or there's all kinds of different like very detailed talking code geis code geese
mm,
Lelouch the Rebellion.
yeah.
That one you have to listen. Those bitches talk through the whole dang thing. They explain everything they're doing. So yeah, I think mileage may vary kind of thing, but I'm just not, my brain isn't wired that way. I can't multitask that way. So I envy you, but I also am like sad that you don't kind of have as much of that. You're not like awarded that time in your life to like sit there and open a book and just sit on your couch and read that book.
I don't.
Like it
I do
wasn't.
it to myself. I don't let myself have downtime either. If I have downtime, I don't know what I'm doing. It's no, I don't have downtime, and so I'm off trying to find something to do. It's
I get it.
it's bad. Oh, so I found that the other audiobook, it's
Hmm.
Demon Princess Magical Chaos, and it's an isekai, and it's a light novel from J.J. Pavlov, and this was wild. So it's this wild. I mean wild. It's this girl
I,
that gets brought into this magical world as a demon queen's daughter, and she's this creature called a crawling chaos, but they don't say chaos. It's spelled chaos, but they pronounce it cows. And so every time she says chaos, it's cows, and it's awful. That's really my only complaint.
look, you're actually hurting me by saying that
Yeah.
that way. It's like I'm like, ugh.
No, I had a seizure the first time. And I was like, "Oh god, all right." And then she did it again and I was like, "Oh god, please not again." And so it kept going. She builds this is she's a lesbian um blob is what it is. So she was very interested in women as a female in the human world. She's isekai'd. Now she's this amorphous creature who turns into a woman so she can do what she wants. She builds this harem of dark elves. And I was like, okay, neat. She finds this one with a crab claw. And I was like, okay, neat. And then there was a whole sex scene with between these two. And I was like,
Oh, so she became a tentacle monster for
she did.
one.
She did.
Uh,
She became a tentacle
Absolutely.
monster with the crab claw dark elf, and I had to sit down, and I was like, I don't. How did I get here? What is what is
So,
happening? What
so
is
what you
happening?
found it? You found what was old world referred to as a lemon.
A
Is that
lemon.
it is a lemon? Yeah. So this is back in the day, like on the internet, that people would write fan fiction for like specific anime series and stuff like that. And if it contained basically hentai, it was called a lemon. And so you found you found essentially what is the like anime light novel version of Laurel K. Hamilton, where it's just like, and again, monster girls all up in your business, even in your novels,
I don't know how I get here, but it's.
every time.
eh, I just need to. Yeah, I need a reset, a hard reset, and I don't know what I got to do. Find something wholesome and. Or it's just a shonen. I need to just watch a good shonen and get me off this because it's just
You
everywhere.
got off all right.
Oh no, I did not.
Oh no.
Apparently, from the description of the, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway,
Yeah, you
so
probably shouldn't.
what are you watching?
So, much to my sadness, I have been in a bit of an anime slump. I think Daryl and I were talking about this morning. Is he's experiencing this anime renaissance. Like he's watching more anime than he's watched ever of all varying different genres and types. And I've been in an anime slump, but I think it's over. I think it's over because I finally broke down and stopped being really, snooty. And I watched what has actually been released of Demon Slayer's new season. I
Yeah.
didn't rewatch the Mugen Train arc in its like episodic format. I just went ahead and started from the Entertainment District arc. So they gave me 6 episodes. But man, does that show consistently deliver some good ass comedy mixed with some good ass action. So while their studio may have been hit for tax evasion and been fined out the ass, they're still making some good ass animated action, because the new Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc is really awesome. You learn some cool plot points. I'm not going to share them because apparently my tired ass just dropped spoilers in the chat last night. Thank you for deleting those, by the way.
Had to get in there and clean house.
But it got me so hyped. Like, it's been a while since because it wasn't just the action, it was like the story and kind of like just like the animation of it. So it's making me want, like, I have that kind of visceral desire to go out and grab something. Like, I want to go through my Crunchyroll, my Funimation, and find that thing that catches my eye. And currently that appears to be Police in the Pod. And I'm gonna watch Attack on Titan. I am gonna do it.
Yes.
I'm going to push my way through it.
Yes.
I'm gonna see if I was just feeling grumpy or depressed or whatever it was when I watched the first time around. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can watch the show and find my way into it, because it is a cultural phenomenon. Like, I remember season 1 when it was coming out. I mean, I remember friends of mine that had never heard the word anime were coming up to me being like, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called anime? Have you seen Attack on Titan? That shit is dope." It's like, what? I've been telling you about it forever. Like, that's so insulting.
Very hipster of you. Very
yeah,
hipster.
it is. I was into it way before it was cool, but it's true. It's also really hipster of me. I need to get something to curl my mustache hairs or something like that. I don't know
And
how
a
people do
beanie.
that, actually.
There you go.
Let's stop. I'm just getting hurt now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I got some things I want to grab with my hands and just really get into. And Demon Slayer kind of reignited that in me, because I don't know, like, I don't know if it was last season. There were things that sounded interesting. We talked about it, but I just really couldn't stick to anything. Like, even Fruit of Evolution, which is the dumbest shit on the planet, and I like dumb shit, like, it's just the truth. I stopped watching that too. There is one other series that I did start. This is the new season started. I had to watch it, and that is Dress Up Darling, or was it Sono Bisque? Sono no Bisque.
So tired of seeing that girl's face. So tired.
You know what?
Her face is everywhere. Yeah, I mean,
like, what, on Twitter?
Anything. I wipe my ass and her face is on the toilet paper.
Look,
her face is everywhere.
Look, I definitely understand the waifu kind of, like, potential there, and the animation is done really well. It's Cloverworks. It's good quality. I really hope that everybody reaches the same conclusion I have about the series. See, I read the manga, and the manga is amazing. I've been reading it for a while now, like a couple years or so. And what everybody thinks this show is about, it's not. And that's the thing that kind of, like, and the problem is that you don't really realize that until you're further into the series.
Yeah.
The series is not about the girl. It's about the guy. And I love that about it. And I'm not going to go into deep detail about it, because this is a new, fresh anime version of it. Like, that's the thing. Some people just watch anime, so I don't really want to get too spoilery. But yeah, sure, they're going to tout out the girl on all the PVs and the previews and everything, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, new waifu, hooray. But this series is about the main male character, and he and her, by extension, are probably the most realistic and enjoyable main characters I've seen in manga and anime in a long time. And without spoiling anything, it's just because their reactions are natural. Like even her, like there are certain tropes that play out in these kind of like rom-coms and things like that, and it doesn't this time around. So I'll leave it at that. I'll say watch the show. And get excited to see what I'm talking about, because it is worth every bit of time you put into it. Like it's like my heart is full after watching and reading, or sorry, in reading that series. I've watched the first episode, solid start, ready for more, absolutely on board for more.
Good deal.
But yeah,
That's
that's what
a
I've watched.
pretty good
That's what I've
vouch.
watched. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, we'll take that, and we'll go ahead and work our way into the meat and potatoes, as it were.
That's right.
So, what we have today is a special kind of episode. Um, it's not a, I don't know what to call it. We're not. It's going to be labeled a versus, but we're not necessarily saying one is better than the other. Although I'm probably going to. Um, but we're just kind of doing comparisons on
Mm-hmm.
two different kinds of music anime that are kind of based on kids in the same grade that kind of take different routes and kind of elaborate on different stories. We're just going to kind of talk about them, draw conclusions, elaborate on stories, and how we felt about them overall,
You,
um, as far as we
you
can.
make it sound so smart.
I hope to. I try to. It's a it's a lot of this vocabulary I use. I say a lot of things. I don't know what I'm saying half the time, and if you just let me ramble, we're gonna go somewhere I don't want to go. So,
Okay, so which two series are we comparing today?
Monster Musume
I knew
and
it. It's
no,
always that one.
it's always Monster
It's
Musume.
always Monster Musume.
No, it's K-On! And BECK, Mongolian Chop Squad, both of which are high school oriented music rock band animes. Um, kids that or main kids that find their love for music and kind of let their way flourish as it goes. Although it kind of takes two different routes. You kind of see one take the American dream, and you see one kind of take the cozy Japanese dream, I guess you could say. I'm not really sure. But we'll talk about it as we go. Steven, you got any kind of opening thoughts before I get into the generic descriptions of the show?
Yeah, so K-On! And Beck Mongolian Chop Squad are both music animes that are good quality. I definitely want to like kind of accentuate that going in is they're both good shows. They're well animated. They got great musical accompaniment, like a good music direction on each of them, though from differing like viewpoints in the genre. Like I feel like K-On! Is, we'll get into that, but the music direction is fantastic. Um, and I think that they both have their strengths. I think they both have their weaknesses. I'm excited to get into it, but don't walk away from this comparison and thinking that one is worse than the other. I think what it really comes down to is we're going to kind of find out which one you're going to like more.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Which just kind of lay it bare, which one you're gonna decide.
You're gonna
Enjoy.
put me on the spot right at the beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, hands down, is my superior choice of series. And a lot of that has to do with my own personal experience in being a musician. Um, and how the series actually portrayed that. And the reason for that is, like, I think Keon's a great show. I really do. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's funny. It's cute. There's so many things to enjoy about it from like my otaku side, but the musician side of me like connects with Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. So it will be my choice in this matter.
that's that's where I'm going to lie to. Beck just went so hard. Um, and that could just be the little boy dreaming in me, because everyone has those dreams at some point. You listen to music, or I say everyone. I don't want to say that, but a lot of people get that fever dream of, man, wouldn't it be cool to be in a band? Wouldn't it be cool to do this and be a musician? And Um, I can't remember the guy's name, but he actually makes it. He works his way through. He finds a talent and everything, and it's really aspiring to see that kind of underdog story because he goes through some shit to get up there. And
Koyuki.
yes, Koyuki,
Yeah.
he really goes through it and gets it done, and it's kind of inspiring. Like, don't give up on your dreams. Usual shonen
Mm-hmm.
boy shit, but it was a really nice. And K-On! Has its pluses too. K-On! Is a little bit more friendship oriented, from what I
Mm-hmm.
could find. The bonds that the girls have in K-On! Cannot be rivaled by Beck. Um, if I was to go out to lunch with either set, I would want to go out to lunch with the group from K-On! Because at least it's going to be like a fun time. It's not going to be at least the main guy hating everyone, and something angsty maybe happening. But it's they definitely both have their pros and cons. But Beck is
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be my pick from what I watched. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kind of read us some descriptions on what each one are. So, K-On! From Kyoto Animation, uh, also known for Clanad, that's how I say it, Clanad, Violet Evergarden, and Free, the swimming anime. K-On! Is about 5 high school girls who become friends through the light music club. Yui, the lead guitarist, Sumugi, the keyboardist, Mio, the bassist, and Azusa, the rhythm guitarist, and Ritsu, the drummer. K-On! Is the story of 5 aspiring musicians and their journey through high school together. Freshman Yui Hirasawa has just started her high school life and decides to join the light music club alongside 3 other new members. Um, Yui has a real fun intro into the group. She kind of has to pick a group that she's going to join, and she just doesn't know what's going to happen. And while all this struggling for her is going on, you get to see happening on a parallel. Mio and Ritsu are both, oh my god, we're gonna get shut down if we don't find us a final person. Or those two in Sumugi, Sumugi, Mugi. I think that's how you say it. Whatever. They're
Just go with Moogie. I had fun watching you butcher that, but it was just go
I'm
with
pretty sure they
Moogie.
said Mugi in the show. Like I don't think they
Yeah,
said Sue.
they basically shortened her name to Moogie. And she's the eyebrow girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, her eyebrows were hella thick.
I love her eyebrows. I think they make some comments on it in the show, if I recall correctly. And it's so endearing. Look at her eyebrow girl. I'm so
And
proud of her.
so they end up bringing after some shenanigans they end up bringing Yui in, and they find that she doesn't really have any talent for the guitar. Um, gets real embarrassing until
Mm-hmm.
she works hard at it, and she ends up making it happen. She does have some talent after a bit. It was pretty good to see her just kind of flourish after like a midpoint in the first season. Um, let's see. Next up, I'm scrolling down. I'm working through a Word doc that I kind of got typed up. Uh, Beck, Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad from Madhouse, known for Death Note, Black Lagoon, Hunter Cross Hunter, and season 1 of One Punch Man. They have a really diverse catalog there.
Madhouse has done a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I was trying to pick some oldies and goodies, but they did have a lot. So, 14-year-old Yu-Gi-Oh Koyuki Tanaka is a dispirited young boy with no goals in life. However, this all changes when Koyuki saves a strange-looking dog named Beck from being harassed by a group of local dogs. The dog, the dog's owner, 16-year-old Ryusuke Rei Minami, is an emerging guitarist and the former member of a popular rock band. After Koyuki meets Rei again in a diner, the older boy leads him to a former band's meeting place and dazzles Koyuki with his amazing guitar skills. Slowly becoming interested in the glamour of Western rock culture, Koyuki decides to start playing the guitar while helping Rei achieve his dreams of leading the ultimate rock band. Together with Rei's younger sister Maho and a few other members, the two boys launch their career into the world of rock by forming a band called BECK. Beck follows the group's struggles and successes as they spread their fame across Japan.
That's right.
Um,
Get to work on that farm.
that's how it's. Oh god, all I can think of is Filthy Frank references. Is
Oh no, yeah. Let's not
oh
do
god,
that.
no, no, not Filthy Frank. So it's that was a really good description of just kind of how it started. That was a little bit more in
Mhm.
depth. Um, that was pretty much it. But there is a little bit more tumultuous events happening within Beck. It's not
Mhm.
as cookie cutter as that made it sound. It made it sound like, hey, I met a guitarist, we joined a band, success.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of shit happening in Beck. A lot of emotions. I mean, they're all teenagers, so it's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, as I recall, I think Koyuki is like 13 or 14, and then Ryusuke or Ray in this case is 16.
Hmm.
So
Yes, sir.
they're all still relatively young. They always got to make these protagonists young, but
Yes.
they do reach an adult age pretty quick. So
Yeah, and they work hard. So I kind of have a breakdown of the episodes here. I'm gonna kind of just blitz through them and
yeah,
kind of see where we're at.
blitz away, my friend.
Blitzing commencing. Oh, I did want to go through the cast of each one. I don't seem to have saved the one from Beck, unfortunately. Um,
What?
I'm
Look
disappointed
at
because
you.
most of that cast is the cast from Yu Yu Hakusho. Um, like the guy with the afro is Justin Cook, Yusuke, and also like the producer for half the anime in the world. So he
Yeah,
I was pretty excited to see him or hear him. It just Yusuke's voice, and there was
yeah.
like
Justin Cook voiced Chiba Tsunemi,
Chiba. Yeah,
the Afro wearing like rapper for their songs.
that's what he rapped. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cast for K-On! They had a pretty stellar cast. Most of their American casting was girls from the Sailor Moon series. So Mio was Sailor Mars, the ever wonderful Christina Valenzuela.
Man, I
Uh,
fuck with it.
Ritsu is Cassandra Lee Morris, who is Morgana from Persona 5, small little indie title. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm.
Sumugi is Shall, are you shaking your head? You never heard of Persona 5?
I don't know what is this game you're talking about. Like I'm not into indies, man. It's only AAA or death.
It's Call of Duty only. Call of Duty Persona 5.
God damn. It hurts.
Sumu-
I don't
so
hate Call of Duty. I just like fuck, man. All right. Anyway, sorry. That
it's
joke went
all
on too
good.
long.
So Samugi is Shelby Lindley, who is Hitomi from Puella Magi Madoka. I don't really
Mhm.
know about that show. Yui.
Trey. You
Oh,
haven't watched Madoka Magica?
I have not. I am behind on my magical
Man.
girl shows.
Oh, okay. Look, I want you to know that Madoka Magica started a trend in magical girl anime, and I will say nothing else but watch that show
Okay.
because it's a fucking ride. It is a fucking wild ride. You need to watch it. It's so good.
Okay. Huh. Yui is voiced by Stephanie Shea, Usagi from Sailor Moon, and Sawako, who is the teacher, is voiced by Karen Strassman, who is Rogue the Bat in Sonic the Hedgehog. And I was like, that is this is a wild cast to have.
Isn't that Rouge the Bat?
Is it pronounced Rouge?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be French. Like Rouge.
Mm. She doesn't have a French accent.
She's got a French look in
You're
the
not
movie.
wrong.
Okay,
You're
that,
not
that makes
wrong.
me sound remarkably
Yeah.
furry.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about this afterwards. You know how I bully the
Sorry.
furry.
No,
So I'm
no,
probably
no,
gonna give you a
no.
swirly whenever we're done here.
Damn it! Not again. I thought I was past this.
Anyway,
Anyways, moving on.
so season one. I'm
Here, let
just.
me
Oh, go ahead.
hold on. Let me hit you with some facts. some facts.
Please.
So the character of Koyuki in BECK Mongolian Chop Squad was voiced by Greg Ayers. He was well known for being a part of like Chrono Crusade and Haikyuu or in High Host Club. He's got a long list
I know
of
that name from something. I've seen that name recently.
I think unfortunately it's because he passed away.
He's Frieza.
Yeah,
he's
oh, sorry. I
Frieza's
think
brother?
it's Frieza's brother. Yeah,
Oh
because
man.
Christopher Ayers is the one that passed away recently,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's known as the voice of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Yeah. Shame.
So yeah, but his brother, he's been part of ADV's like dub cast for like a long time. I mean, all the way back to 1998. Like he's been doing voice acting since 1998, and he's still doing stuff. But Ryusuke is voiced by Eric Vale, who is mostly known for Yuki Soma in Fruits Baskets and America and Canada from Hetalia.
Oh, it's Italian.
He's Sanji. He's Sanji in One Piece. He's Tomura Shigaraki in My Hero Academia, and of course the oh so beloved Trunks in Dragon Ball.
Yes.
So,
yes, I knew
I
it.
I
knew
knew you were waiting for that. That's why I saved it for last.
I was like, he's Dragon Ball. I know he's Dragon Ball.
Yeah, there's also Maho, who's voiced by Brina Palencia, who is known for good lord, Tony Chopper in One Piece, Mineta in My Hero Academia. Oh, that's a hell of a credit. Eve in Black Cat, and she's been in a lot of stuff. She's actually been on like CW series, and she voiced Mad Moxie in the Borderlands series. Man, she's got quite the credit to her name. Kudos to her. And we already talked about Justin Cook voicing Chiba Tsunemi. Taira Yoshiyuki is by Jerry Jewell in the English dub. He is known for Kyo Soma in Fruits Basket. Jimmy Kudo in Case Closed. And yeah, he's got a pretty good one too. Who
I
else
didn't
we got?
realize the Fruits Basket gang went on to do One Piece like this. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. The only other character I will drop in here is Saku. So Yuji Sakurai, Saku from BECK Mongolian Chop Squad, is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, which everybody who knows anything about anime dubbing in the US or English speaking areas knows this name. He has such an extensive list of roles that it actually has its own section. Holy moly. Yeah,
Johnny
he voiced
Young
Yeah, he voiced Kaneda in the Pioneer dub of Akira. He was Vash the Stampede in Trigun. Good lord, look at this resume. Woo.
You sound so impressed.
I am impressed.
For our audio listeners, Steven looks very impressed. I haven't even pulled my shorts down yet.
Oh my gosh. Gurren Lagann, Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Bleach. He's Ichigo in Bleach. He's in Naruto. He is in Full Metal Alchemist.
Who's he in Naruto?
He is Genma Shiranui.
Genma.
He was freaking part of Durarara, Persona 4 the animation, Blue Exorcist, Pokemon Origins, Fate Zero, Toradora, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if that rings a bell. Sailor Moon, Ajin, Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, Be the Beginning, Devilman Crybaby, Pop Team Epic, Violet Evergarden.
All right, this is quite the hand job.
Yeah,
so we can.
yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I get excited. I apologize. I love this man's work. I've been following it for a long time, so
Yeah,
I got
no,
excited.
he's
Anyways, that's the
what?
general cast of main characters in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. So
No, thanks for covering that. That's a. I could have, and maybe there was extra credits I looked at somewhere, or maybe I looked at the wrong casting, but I could have swore there was somewhere else I saw Yu Yu Hakusho besides
look,
Justin Cook. But I could have been looking at a different cast.
I mean, at this point, Johnny Young Bosch could have been in everything.
Yeah, it could have been him.
But yeah, no,
So
the cast of both of these are solid. We got some good veterans in the market on it, so good stuff. Now you're getting into episode kind of
I
coverage, right?
I am. So I'm gonna run through season 1 of K-On! And then halfway through Beck American Chop Squad today is what we're gonna kind of do. We're probably gonna be splitting this up into 2 episodes today, because there's a lot to cover with these two
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Yeah.
So just to kind of go through it, and we'll just kind of talk on it as we I guess have memories.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, K-On! Season 1,
Oh
Episode
Lord.
1. Yui the guitarist in a world. So no, episode 1. See, Yui passes to senior school and decides into what club to enter. She comes in musical, but not able to play. But not able to play the not one instrument. Wow, this is some awful Google Translate stuff.
You are reading off of something on your screen, but it is not good. Whatever it is a bad experience.
Hang
Look,
on.
you,
Yui
no,
passes to senior school and decides into what club to enter. She comes in musical, but not able to play the not one instrument. That's awful. I don't even know that's just her not able to join the music club because she sucks. That's awful. Everything else looks okay. No, it gets worse.
it gets worse. Of course
It
it
gets
does.
worse.
Basically, Yui gets into high school and has to decide a club to join. And she decides to join the light music club. She's very energetic. She's very airheaded. But she's motivated, and she has the ability to kind of like pick things up pretty quickly. She gets very focused. She's such a unique, quirky, and kind of fun character. She's kind of fashionable, very much like a girl's girl, but like very inquisitive and enjoyable. She joins the light music club and basically rolls in with no knowledge whatsoever of how to play an instrument. She actually thought it was for people who enjoyed music, and it finds out that no, they're supposed to make music. Um, and if I recall correctly, Ritsu is her friend that she just knows.
I I think it's Sumigi or
Oh, sorry.
Mugi.
Yeah,
Ritsu and
Mugi is the
Mio
one.
are both friends. Yeah, they're the ones that know each other since grade school, and
And
they're
actually know instruments. Like they
yeah,
actually
they
fucking can
actually
play
play.
instruments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're funny because they try so hard to actually make music, and Samugi is the keyboardist, and she's okay doing what she does, but everyone else gets so frustrated with Yui because she's awful. And
She is
after
terrible.
after episode 1, they realize she can't play, so they have to get her a guitar. And like they spend the next episode or 2 trying to get her a guitar so she can actually play. And
Mhm.
it's just shenanigans, just trying to get her to do stuff because they're all doing like side jobs in the city, and Yui is the only one that won't do the jobs. Like they're doing
Like
traffic
she's so
direction.
incapable. So
It's awful.
incapable. Yeah. Like high schoolers could be hired as like traffic directing construction workers to make some side money. They could work in convenience stores, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Though in some schools they're not supposed to.
And then excuse me. So Yui, she's just I mean, apart from being the main girl of the group, she's also the problem character. Apart from that, there's no real
Hmm.
villain apart from her. So after that, she's about to fail a test. If she fails this test, the music club will be closed. So they end up doing this big study thon, and they figure ways to help her memorize things because she's stupid. And so she passes this test. Yay, the music club stays open. I think this is also where they meet her sister, who is the smart, responsible younger sister. And
Right. They kind of like show her at the very beginning of the series where Yui is like late to school, won't wake up, and the little sister is kind of yelling from the other room or like comes in to wake her up, and like she seems to be like this background character.
yeah,
Um yeah.
only for the beginning part, because she kind of works her way into the main story. After a while,
Yeah.
everyone's dependent on her, Yui especially. After that, we have the first beach episode that goes on, and
Oh, I
it's
forgot.
fun,
I
and
forgot.
it's okay. And then the girls write their first song, and they go to a performance for a festival. It's okay.
Mhm.
They just have trouble writing a song. Teamwork. How are we gonna do this, ladies? All right, all in on one. And they said
Hokugo Tea Time, right? Is the name of the
maybe.
band? Yeah, it's Hokugo Tea Time. And if I recall correctly, the first festival uh show is like actually a huge success. They had like the costumes and everything thanks to Sawako.
Yeah, she
Um
really dresses. Oh, we didn't even talk about her. Uh,
yeah, like
so,
I love there's an entire episode devoted to her backstory as a like metal singer because of an ex-boyfriend and things like that. Like she has the whole makeup and outfit thing, and that's why she's really into the outfits. So they do this like festival show, and Sawako gives them clearly I've been drinking, um, gives them their outfits, and it goes off really well. But then Mio accidentally ends up flashing the audience with her underwear, which is the infamous Shimapan, the striped panties, which
a
I love.
classic.
Okay, so there's a this scene is actually really funny to me because they don't actually show the characters' panties. They just show like a screen, like the whole screen is covered by the striped pattern, just to imply it. It's for a wholesome series. It's a wholesome way to show a slightly inappropriate slash lewd moment that would be embarrassing to somebody like Mio, who has a deep complex. Like that's the thing is like I think in a lot of the like cute ways that the show goes forward and shows you the daily lives of these girls and their insecurities, that you get that from them. Like Mio's very self-conscious about her lyrics. Like if you
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall, but like she struggles to actually be confident enough to share her lyrics with the group and then actually like sing them. Um so it's kind of interesting that it kind of folds that stuff in. I think frankly this is kind of where I get into the direction and the animation studio. Kyoto Animation has great direction staff in writing because I think they do a great job of really folding in social issues um, with series that have a lighthearted nature in them. I thought Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions did that really well. It was played out as goofy and kind of like comedic, but the things that were happening in there, especially towards the end of the series, were very serious and like were things that you should pay attention to. And I think that still kind of qualifies on K-On! Here as well, though it definitely is a lot more lighthearted than the end of the season of each series of Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions.
Oh yeah, it's not near as heavy as Chunibyo. God, nothing slaps like that.
Look, Chunibyo made me outright bawl. Like,
I I wasn't ready, and I was just sitting here. I think it was
oh,
I was on a trip or something. I think I had to go to a conference, and so I was watching it, and I got to those last couple episodes, and I was like, "Wow, what is this going to end on?" And then it got there, and I called my wife, and I was like, "Whew,
whoa. Like
man."
season one, there is only one scene in season one that sold me on that show so bad that I will recommend it to everyone every time because it's such an emotional moment. And I've talked about it on the podcast before, so I won't really retract, but like Dekamori is absolutely the selling point
Oh
of that
yeah,
entire
Dekamori.
season.
Yeah, her
Like
breaking down is awful.
her,
It
yeah,
hurts.
her breakdown hurts, but is also so viscerally honest. I like I still think about it to this day. Like it's just such a great moment. And I think it resonates because when I was younger and I was very into this hobby, um, so I know we're digressing to a certain degree. Um, I kind of escaped into that fantasy to a level of like what they're trying to portray in that show.
Did you
And
have Chunibyo?
I didn't have Chunibyo, but I basically got so far into anime, manga, and like that fandom that I became that like really cringe-worthy thing where I really didn't want to disassociate from it
Mm,
whenever I was done with it. I didn't know
yeah.
how to enjoy this and also enjoy real life. It was a very kind of like unique time when I was younger. um so I really like, for me, like one of the big things is like I understand that feeling because I did learn those lessons along the way. I learned that moment when I can take the thing I like anime and manga, and enjoy it and like really get invested in it. But then I also know how to operate. And I think in real life, like I know how to have social interactions, I know how to have a job and things like that. And that kind of like emotional kind of stuff, Kyoto Animation sells really well, both in Chunibyo and in K-On! Even. It may be a little bit more subtle in K-On!, but it's there. Like whether it be like, for instance, we'll get into another character that shows up later in the series named Asuza, and even Yui to a degree. She goes through her own transformation as she continues to be a part of the light music club. So anyways, sorry, I totally got on my soapbox there in the middle of you explaining basic episode structure.
No, no, it's fine. That's good. That's what we're here for. We're people. So, uh, so they do have their first performance, and then they have a Christmas episode. Probably one of the nicest Christmas episodes I can recall in anime that I've seen. It was really pretty, really
Hmm.
sweet. Everyone gave nice gifts. Even the teacher came in because you gotta use your assets and justify the budget.
Hmm.
Um, Apart from that, they get the new participant in the music group, Asuza.
Hmm.
Um, and she is, I think, the rhythm guitarist. I think is what I said earlier. Oh, I don't have her
Hmm.
voice actor up. Um, I must have missed her. Um, so I want to say she was real weary on joining the music club at first because she didn't really know how serious these girls were. Some of them, or half of the group is serious, the other half is
Hmm.
lottie dottie, and
Hmm.
it's real funny just seeing how she judges getting in, and eventually she's forced
Hmm.
into the group, and her dynamic with everyone is so funny. She's kind of the real go-getter type, and she's got something to prove as the underclassman of everybody. And
Yeah.
she was a nice addition. I wasn't expecting to enjoy someone new in a season one. I mean, granted, it's new, but like halfway through they added someone new, and I really enjoyed her more than I thought I would.
Yeah. She's the daughter of jazz musicians, if I recall correctly. And so she actually has a close connection with actual musical performance and musical skill. So whenever she comes into the club, she views Yui especially as
A
especially
rival.
lazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they also play her up with Mio to be like a sister like situation. So the dynamic definitely kind of it adds something to the series. I think it pushes it to a different dimension because you finally have somebody in the group that is, don't get me wrong, Ritsu and Mio have been in the like music club for a while, but they're not associated with music outside of their lives the way like Azusa is. And I think that that starts to kind of like evolve the interactions. There's definitely still like cute things going on. Like Azusa gets so mad and then like people just like pat her head and she's like adorable Moe blob, like kind of like, fine, kind of deals with it. Um, but I think it also propels the girls to try a little harder. Yui maybe completely lackadaisical and just ridiculous, but she is focused and kind of like obsessive in the way that she kind of sticks to things. And you kind of have to gather that over a period of time. You won't see it if you just watch it like kind of like at face value.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing, is like it doesn't sell itself as something deeper than that. And that's the sneakiness of Kyoto Animation and most of their series, frankly.
Yeah. There's a lot
Shit,
more under the hood than it looks.
absolutely. It's not subtle. It's very much like you gotta look what's going on behind the scenes. At least in my
Yes,
opinion.
sir.
Maybe I'm overanalyzing it. Maybe I'm being film criticky, I guess, in this situation. Like, but I think that's the case here. Like, Asusa is finally a real musician, and I think that plays into the series a lot better. And I think it actually gets better from this point.
No, I like to do that, especially with anything or any kind of media I look at and play. If there's a message I pull from it, I like to think that that's something that was intended, whether or not that's something the producers or story writers or whoever was trying to get across. Like, it'll be something arbitrary. Like, what is it? We were watching Shrek 2 earlier, with my son. Uh, Not to just make a random allusion to Shrek 2, but I hadn't really thought about it in a long time. And my wife was like, "Yeah, in the beginning, this is something really about race." Because, Shrek and Fiona come up to her dad and her dad and mom, and they're like, real, ogres. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right, because it's really about, maybe some kind of racial bias, maybe, and how interracial couples have trouble fitting into other families, where Shrek tries to modify himself to fit into this culture that he wants to be into. And sometimes you do have to take a step back and be like, am I thinking about Shrek too hard? Is this really going on right now? But there's also
Yeah,
undertones in movies.
yeah,
And
interpretation is also a big part of it as well. I
yeah,
mean, it like that can be interpreted in so many different ways, from like awkwardness with the in-laws to analyzation of interracial couples, to because yeah, that's a lot of different things to kind of take into. And I feel like that's a big part of film, and whether it be anime or live action or Trek in this case.
yeah,
The undertones and interpretation, I think, is really where we come away with different feelings about a show. And I think it's half the fun of talking about it.
I agree. So season 1, let's get back to that. So the girls go together to have another rest. They go back and have their second beach episode this season. That's illegal. You can't
Wait, two
have
beach episodes?
2 beach episodes in one season. They do. They have 2 beach episodes.
I
It's
forgot
illegal.
about this.
I hated it. I was so mad
It
because the
has to be
story
a hot
wasn't going
spring
anywhere.
episode. It has to be
Yeah,
hot
it
springs.
had,
Like they broke the holy trinity.
there's a pattern, and they refused to follow it. They went back to the same beach house and did the beach scenes. It
It's
was
not acceptable.
I hated it. And so
Oh,
after that,
terrible.
they girls get sick. They get ready for their big end of year festival, before they all move up to the next grade, and it they finally do their first big performance for the school. Um, a music club first time comes forward outside school is the translation for the final season 1 episode, and it was fun. They came out and they showed out, and that was it. I was really disappointed with the end of season 1 of K-On! Um, I had a lot of fun with the girls. They're a
Mhm.
blast, but the biggest thing that I felt hurt it for me was that we didn't go anywhere. Like, these girls grew a little bit, they studied music,
Mhm.
but there wasn't a goal or that they were trying to achieve, or they didn't, not even a goal. They didn't get anything. I mean, I knew them a little better, but it's not like they went and beat the battle of the bands or anything. They just did the cute girls doing cute things thing, and I
And
realized that
yeah,
too
and
late.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you with anime, and especially like things like Moe Blob and like Slice of Life, the end result, there is no end result. It's just the point where the series cuts off the hijinks and the adventures. Um, they usually try to find like a kind of like a milestone to drop an episode on. But the reality is it's just what they're doing. And that can be really jarring for a fan who is used to a series having what your standard bell curve, I guess, or bell pattern,
Yeah,
where
I think
you
a bell
you
curve is
you
it.
start,
Yeah, something to
yeah,
go up
you
to,
build
build
up,
up to. Yeah.
hit a climax, and then you have your resolution. That doesn't really happen in Slice of Life. Like there might be some high tension moments, um, the big game or the big show, but this is absolutely it's sold itself as this. So the hardest part is that it's not, it's on the viewer to really kind of decide like how to approach it. And like that's the thing, you came up on shonen anime. Like that is the biggest thing to kind of like make you think like what's next? Where's the big
Yeah.
fight? Where's the big resolution? Where's the spirit bomb?
Yeah.
It's not there in Slice of Life. It just isn't. It is a milestone. It is a marking point for more eventual hijinks, adventures, misadventures, whatever. And I think you're getting better at it. And I think that's why it disappointed you. It's like you're used to that bell curve. And I expected it from the get go. Like I was just like, this is like by the time I hit episode 3, I was like, okay, I know where we're going from here. And that's fine. I'll enjoy the ride. And they did introduce enough conflict to keep me engaged. So I'll call that a win as well. But it is nothing compared to some other stuff I've gone through. But yeah, that wraps season 1.
Yeah. Um, so we'll button that up there. We'll follow up with
Yeah,
season 2 in the next episode. Um,
absolutely.
Now season 1 of Beck, we're only going halfway through this one. So we're gonna stop at episode 13 for this. The other half we'll save for season 2, doing the side by side. Now starting off, the description really did a good job of telling you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Kiyoki really, or Koyuki, really just
Koyuki.
feels Koyuki really feels like his life isn't going anywhere until he meets this guitarist, and life kind of opens up for him. He feels like he has a purpose again. He starts wanting to do things. He was real depressive before then. He meets the
He's
band.
very listless. He's very listless in
Listless.
this. Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. He gets invited to check them out at the next gig, and it's really fun to see these guys at their gigs. It's a fun part of each episode if the bands are performing.
Mm-hmm.
I There's not many times I enjoy CGI in anime, but the CGI in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad for whenever they're doing their guitar bits for the
Mm-hmm.
fingers is great. It's fun. Um, let's see. Next, Kayuki's hanging out with his friends, finds out more about the music, and he gets an old guitar as a thank you gift. And he finally starts strumming, figuring things out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Kayuki takes his first tentative steps towards learning how to play, but all progress stops when he trashes the guitar. And Yusuke and Koyuki's friendship's threatened. Jinkies. Uh, I don't really remember what happened
Jinkies.
there. I
I don't,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I don't remember exactly what damaged the guitar. I can't
I
remember exactly.
I feel like I remember there being bullies involved.
That's right. It is like that. They kind of like fuck up the guitar, and instead, and this is a very Japanese thing. Instead of explaining that bullies kind of fucked it up, it like Koyuki views it as his responsibility to tell
Yeah,
Ryosuke and about it, and like not really kind of blame it on anybody. Like it's very much a thing that it's like this was my responsibility. So even though it was originally your guitar, it's damaged, and I'm responsible for it ultimately because I let people do that to me.
yeah.
Um, but he does basically their friendship kind of does sort of like cool to a
Yeah,
degree.
they get back to they're fine. That it says it gets a little tense there. I mean, it
But
was his guitar.
he gets it repaired. He gets it repaired, and he actually starts taking on lessons on his own.
Yep. He works his ass off to get that taken up to where he can go back to doing a battle of the bands with these guys. Um, oh, I lost my spot. Oh yeah. So Koyuki enters a battle of the bands with Saito's reformed group. And the old singer's too drunk to perform until Maho steps up to the microphone. He finds out Maho is like a little pop singer. Turns out, old girl is slanging words and
Slanging words.
slanging them words. And it looks like it's back to the guitar. They're trying to get him a newer, better guitar. There's one that he falls in love with. I think it's Lucille, Lenny, something. I'm
No,
pretty sure it's Lucille.
Lucille is the guitar that
That's the one at the
uh
end, right?
it's the one that what is it, Ryosuke or Ryunosuke? I'm trying to remember his name exactly.
Ryosuke,
Um Ray.
Ray, Ray. Yeah,
Yeah, Ray has a connection to it's a Gibson Les Paul guitar, by the way, that has a bullet hole in it.
ooh,
Named Lucille, which is also a reference to BB King's famous Gibson guitar. And he's like that's his guitar. There's actually like story elements that revolve around Lucille. There's almost this is kind of like pimpy looking dude, like kind of gangster looking dude that's
yeah.
involved in it too.
Pimp named
Um,
Slickback looking man.
oh my god, yeah, it's a little stereotypical, but the menacing nature of it is kind of sold. Um, but yeah, like where were you on that one? Like, because I get
So
Koyuki another guitar, they do.
they get another guitar, and then he gets volunteered to be a part of the swim club, and it's a pivotal moment for Koyuki, because he
Yes.
finally develops the stamina to be able to sing. And you don't really realize it until later on. He just kind of joins the swim club and it's kind of stupid. And it's like, what is all this about? And then finally you see it like later on in the show and he's singing and there he's like these swim classes, these tournaments, I'm stronger as a musician and like he's pushing himself to do better and take these take these like secret lessons from this Olympian swimmer that used to be his or that is his neighbor or something, this scandalous person. And it's funny that his whole interact
It's,
that guy's
it shocks me.
hilarious.
It shocks me because the things you take away from an anime really paint you as a shonen fan because it's
Yeah.
the training arcs. The training arcs really get your attention
Oh yeah.
because
That's
it's
what
such a
matters.
minor thing. No, that's such a minor thing for my purview. Like
Oh yeah.
his interactions with other musicians and his own devotion to practice of the actual instrument are kind of like really what like that's the thing is as a musician I look at it, I'm like that's the part, that's the training arc, but you see it from a different perspective and like physical activity actually puts you in training arc mode. So I'm not saying you're
Oh,
wrong, I'm just
oh
saying
no.
it's
He needed that
what.
too, though. So he also had
Yeah,
to beat the cheeks of his fingers against that drum. He or the guitar. He had to learn how to play that guitar regardless. But him him doing that swimming was almost like some shadow clone sage training that was going on the side. It was
did
it was some extra stuff that was really helping him out in the long term.
so we're both right, is basically what we're coming
Yeah,
to.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Um, so isn't this also where along the lines where he meets like Saku?
Saku, the girl?
No, Saku, the drummer, the other boy that joins the band with
Oh.
him.
Oh
Because
man.
remember he's in school
Yes.
he's still in school and he really doesn't have a lot of friends. He doesn't connect with a lot of people in a big way. I mean
No,
most of
he
the connections are outside of it.
they lose the drummer this episode, and I think the next one's where they get him, is what these descriptions.
Mhm.
So thank goodness these kind of have a little more detail. So yeah, I think they do get his friend the drummer. I didn't remember his name was Saku. Um, but yeah, and he turns out he's like a little drumming prodigy. Like he can fucking
Yes.
slap it. And so
Look,
he oh, go ahead.
Saku is my favorite character in the series.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100% the best character in the entire series. And there are various reasons for that. One, he's a talented musician, but he's very humble
Yeah.
throughout the whole process. Like he doesn't get a big head about it. But there is a moment that will happen later that we will talk about that cemented him as fucking best boy
Is it
in
where
this
he
series.
killed Koyuki?
Absolutely.
Good.
He had to activate his shadow jutsu
Hell
or
yeah.
whatever ninjas do. I don't know.
Just joking. No one dies. No one dies.
No one dies.
There's no shadow
Well,
jutsu in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
no.
No one gets their Mongolian chopped. So,
Ah.
um, what happened? What happened? Where am I at? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Koyuki's confidence in his abilities is shaken after a lackluster performance. He doesn't do a good job at oh god, it was awful. Oh, I'm cringing thinking about it. So he goes and sings the song at the first gig, and it's bad. Like he's like his left nut dropped in the middle of the performance, and he just cannot sing. He's not playing right. It's bad. But Ryusuke has a new song in the pipe, hoping it'll bring everything together. Koyuki and the band are ecstatic that Dying Breed plan the tour in Japan. Tour and Dying Breed is like this band that everyone is worshiping in the rock or the punk rock scene over there
Mhm.
in Beck. So everyone wants to go see him and see whatever was up. Their guitarist Eddie is actually coming to Beck's show. What? So at the show, Koyuki gets the thrill of a lifetime when they actually get to have him up on stage. And what does Koyuki do? He fucking sings. He gets up there and he does his thing. He does right. I'm not mixing it up, am I?
No, you're not. So Eddie is
Okay.
actually a friend of Ryusuke's uh,
Mm,
from America, if I recall correctly. And they have a connection. It's part of the story, so I won't go too far into it. Um, but yeah, he shows up and he comes up on stage to play, and so basically Koyuki he's gained this interest of Western music through being a part of the band and everything. So he's basically definitely gotten into Dying Breed. So he's learned the music, he's learned the songs, he's learned the lyrics. So he gets asked to sing this song by Dying Breed that they play, and he just nails it. Like people are enthralled. And it's probably, I think this is a very formative moment for him because it's the first time he realizes that his singing, while he is emulating a different style of singing, his singing can have an effect on the audience and how the crowd reacts to their band. One of the important things to determine here is like it's the singers, the singer like Koyuki being the singer is not a constant thing. There's different singers,
yeah. They all
and
take turns. It's cool to see because you see Chiba doing his rap stuff for certain
mhm.
songs. You'll see oh man, I don't even remember what the main guy will sing. But it's just Chiba whenever he does the Typhoon, Typhoon 24.
Nah,
Every
he
time.
gets so fucking lit on
It's
that one.
hype.
He's so excited. Yeah. I love Chiba. Chiba is a fun character too. Like I think that's what's unique about this show is like all of the characters have their own personalities and it feels like a real thing. Being in a band is an amalgamation of a bunch of different personalities that learn these instruments for a specific reason. And sometimes you come together and you're on the same page. Sometimes you come together and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? What? No, we didn't agree that. I'm going to do it anyways. Okay, cool. All right, let's see how it goes. Like it's very much a kind of like a very visceral experience because just because you learned like for me like I played saxophone. Like absolutely played saxophone because I wanted to get into jazz. I ended up playing in a ska band. I didn't play
Fuck yeah.
jazz. Yeah, I didn't play like just jazz style music. I can play it, but I learned because I became a fan of the genre, and I played saxophone in high school, and I was like, I want to do something with it besides just marching band and stuff like that. So I started branching out into things like jazz, and I got to know ska and varying different kinds of uses of saxophone in music. I mean, even back down to disco and like funk. Um, so I learned a lot of different things, and so I joined. I actually got asked by somebody if I could play saxophone, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, can you play ska? And I was like, if you got music, I can. And that's the thing. It's like when I went into it, what they wanted to do was play punk rock music. They wanted to play guitar and shred and get fucking wild with the solos, and I wanted to play saxophone. And it just so happened that we learned these musical instruments for different reasons, but came together and made something. And I think that's one of my favorite things about the character of like Chiba and Saku, and like every character in the actual band is different but similar at the same time. And I think it's so authentic. It's one of
Yeah.
the reasons why this series jumps at you. Like if you have any inclination of what it's like to be in a real rock band and like start from the bottom, this show shows it. And
And I
we'll expand from there, but yeah.
and I can't believe I didn't bring it up. We're gonna go ahead and cut it there for the episode talk.
Yes, please. I have to
Um,
pee.
but before we wrap up, I just want to say, "Hitting in America" from Beat Crusaders comes from this show,
Oh.
and probably the best anime opening ever. And there, don't at me, don't cat me, don't even rat me, because it's not going to be possible. It's not an argument.
Look, B Crusaders has some sexy ass music, and I want you to know what's interesting about this show. Like, I'm gonna wrap. We'll wrap on this. This show, like, they were definitely more well known, but B Crusaders and a lot of the bands that were associated with this show were not huge, like artists. They were handpicked by the music director to kind of personify that like sort of like indie underground like low level like starting from the bottom up band, and they did a great job choosing it. And but it still has that flair, it has that punch, and Hitting the USA and the Beat Crusader like soundtrack is great. And there's actually other bands involved, but Beat Crusaders. If you haven't listened to Beat Crusaders, go listen to them now. And with that, Trey, it's time to put you to bed.
You ain't lying, dude. I am tired. This
I'm
is a pretty
so
long one
tired.
for us. It's a long one.
It is. We got more.
Yeah. God, don't I always? Or anyway. So with that, Steven, actually, I'll cap us for tonight, real quick.
All right.
So everyone, you know where to find us. You're listening to us. Hey, keep doing that. Leave us a review, please. It helps. Apart from that, we do have a Patreon that's up. You can check that out at patreon.com/senpai kohai podcast. Check that out for different tiers and rewards. We do have a Discord that's open with that, where you can kind of help shape and form what we're going to do next. If you have an episode idea, let us know. We are open to more things like this, or doing new and different things. Come join the senpais and the kohais. Check us out on Twitter, Simco Podcast, also on Facebook and Instagram. And with that, Steven, I'm getting under the covers, dude. Good night.
Me too. Good night.